Call us or visit your local funeral home.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo, the site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories. So here I am. Join me, Boria Majumdar, on India's #1 news network.
Very good evening. You're watching India Sense. I'm Gaurie, Dwivedi. Over the course of the next 30 minutes, we get you all the big stories that matter to the global Indian. But first up, as always, the headlines this Friday evening. Khalistanis continue their free run in Canada. Shots fired at Kapil Sharma's restaurant in Surrey. Why Mark Carney is not able to control the growing Cape problem in Canada. We decode. India plays hardball, will continue to negotiate with the US. There will be no deal on the trade issue till the US backs down on several contentious issues, including the one on genetically modified crops issue, an absolute deal breaker for India. In a big exclusive, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert speaks to NDTV. He speaks on whether or not this Gaza truce can hold 60 days and what could be the potential long-term solution for the region. India signing mega defense deals for its indigenous defense industry. Several industries and several countries around the world, from Croatia to Cyprus to Ghana, are now interested in India's defense production. Another glass ceiling broken as HUL appoints Priya Nair as its first female CEO, who's set to take over from 1st of August. All right, viewers, Justin Trudeau is out, but Khalistani terrorism and extremism surely isn't out in Canada. Instead, the K-terror threat is only thriving under Prime Minister Mark Carney. In fact, just this week, there have been shots that have been fired at comedian Kapil Sharma's up-and-coming new restaurant in Surrey in British Columbia. Harjeet Singh, linked to terror outfit Babbar Khalsa International, has claimed responsibility for the attack, accusing Sharma of hurting Khalistani sentiments. It's clear that Prime Minister Mark Carney is failing the K-terror test. Let's take a look at this report that tells you more.
I'm standing on the 120th Street in Surrey in Canada, where comedian Kapil Sharma recently started his new venture, Cap Cafe. And here's Cap Cafe right behind us, which has had a bit of a shaky start, considering that there was a shooting incident that took place right outside this restaurant on the morning of the 10th of July. The Surrey police say that they got a call at around 1:50 a.m. Saying that there was a shooting that has taken place outside this restaurant. In fact, I will take you exactly to the location where you can see the damage to the property, and The staff was still inside the restaurant at that time. However, none of the staff were injured. That is what the Surrey police press release clearly says. And here is the damage to the property. As you can see, glass shards lying there all over the place with 3 windows, glass windows, that have been badly damaged because of the shooting that took place from right across the street over here. So it's this street behind me. This is the place where the assailants are believed to have come in a car, and they fired 8 rounds right across here, and the shots ended up damaging the property. As you can see clearly, this is the state of the building at the moment, with the establishment staff being pretty shaken up because of that. As of now, of course, this restaurant is closed because of this shooting incident. Now, while the Surrey police say that its frontline investigation support team is now going to look at this incident, this matter further, to see whether there were any past incidents that could be associated with this one, or what the motive could be behind the shooting. That's what they will investigate.
All right, we got you a ground report to tell you what really happened. Now let's talk about why this religious extremism, this complete intolerance, continues to thrive with a pattern of such instances that we tell you viewers. Let's put that out one by one as to why this continues to happen in Canada. Now, bullets fired at Kapil Sharma's cafe, hit with 9 shots. This is the latest that has happened. Let's move ahead, tell you some of the other instances where Khalistanis continue to completely ensure that the law and order situation in Canada is almost under their control. Now, the BC legislature, the British Columbia legislature, honored pro-Khalistani singer Jazzy B. There were red carpets that were actually rolled out for these singers. There was major applause, indicating that there is almost like a fan base that these Khalistanis have in Canada. Then we're going to talk later about what Mark Carney needs to do to ensure he addresses some of India's concerns. Next, Modi effigies were cage-rolled in Khalistani rallies. This happened. All this is recent, viewers. This is a pattern that continues even after there's been a change of guard, but this pattern continues. Let's talk about the Toronto hate parade. This is the one. The next is the MP photo ops, where you have MPs like Sukhi Dhaliwal who are seen with Khalistani flags. This happens in broad daylight, even as India-Canada relationship gets impacted because of this, because this fan base is what is fanning the latest attack that took place is Kapil Sharma's cafe. And lastly, let's put out the fact that the Canadian top intel agency, CSIS, has actually warned that there are these deep Khalistani networks that are active on Canadian soil. No action is being taken. Why no action is being taken? And most importantly, how is it then going to ensure that the India-Canada relationship recovers? Because it was the Khalistani issue that ruptured that relationship. Let's get in Terry Meluski to talk more on this and to understand from him that how is it that the Canadian-Indian relationship can actually recover, given the fact that Khalistanis have a free rein, Terry, as far as Canadian soil is concerned. The latest attack on Kapil Sharma's cafe proves that.
Thank you for the invitation. I think there's a little bit more to it than just a Khalistani operation being allowed by Canada to be directed from Germany by this character, Harjeet Singh Laddi. I make that point because, sorry, but Prime Minister Carney is not the police chief in Germany. And if indeed we accept the claim of responsibility by this Baba Khalsa International operative, pretty well known, Laddi, then we've got to ask, well, what is Germany doing about him? What is India doing about him, as much as what is Canada doing about him? Having said that, 2 things can happen. First, it's not unusual, believe it or not, for street thugs to try to make themselves seem more important than they are by adopting a political coloration, saying, oh no, I'm not just some average thug running a protection racket by shooting up a restaurant and demanding money for protection. No, I'm more glamorous than that. I'm a political revolutionary. I'm fighting for an independent Khalistan. Well, I don't know if you believe that, but it's certainly
Terry,
happens.
This is not freedom of expression. This is not freedom of speech. This is complete vandalism, and these are all terror attacks, aren't they? And Canadian soil, and Canada is allowing all of it to happen.
Well, all I'm saying to you is that it's not just a Khalistani attack. You can give it that coloration if you accept their claims. I don't accept the claim that this guy Laddi necessarily has anything to do with it. He might be trying to look like a big shot by claiming responsibility. But we also know that there have been a series of events, as you rightly noted, of a similar nature, which turn out to be straight extortion attempts. It's a protection racket. This is back to the 1930s, where the mafia boss walks into your restaurant, says, nice place you have here, shame if something happened to it. Pay me and I'll protect you from me. So that's what's going on just as much as the Khalistani thing. I'm not saying to you that the Khalistani element isn't important and that the government needs to do something about it. You rightly point the finger at MP Sukh Dhaliwal. I don't know why the Liberal Party of Canada still has him as a member with his record of kissing up to the Khalistanis.
And in fact, they got rid of Chandra Arya, who wanted to address this issue. I'm going to leave it there. Terry Miliski, thanks much for speaking to us. I know it's early morning in Canada, but thanks much for speaking to us. Well, viewers, in the past 4 months, Prime Minister Mark Carney has not taken any concrete steps to rein in the issue. Neither has he made any specific remarks on this matter indicating his intent. The recent attack is clear proof, with the culprit still on the loose. Carney is brushing this issue under the carpet. Moreover, he is silencing anyone who's raising concerns over the matter. Canadian MP Chandra Arya, who's spoken about it, he's spoken against the Khalistani extremism, has been sidelined by the Liberal Party. Yet he continues to push for a reset in ties between Ottawa and New Delhi. Mark Carney met Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of the G7 summit last month. He agreed to re-establish high commissioners. He agreed that the relationship should come back. But the bitterness of the recurrent terror attacks against the Indian diaspora in Canada remains. New Delhi must make it clear to Ottawa that there cannot be a reset till the time these attacks are addressed. And that is something that Mark Carney needs to now prove. He needs to pass the K-terror test for the relationship with New Delhi to recover and come back to its original flourishing state. Well, turning attention to the Pakistani political landscape, which is set to see yet another makeover. Well, many thought that Imran Khan was done and over with. In fact, that also included Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, Army General Asim Munir. They all thought that the Khan story is far from over. That isn't the case. Well, there's a fresh bombshell that's emerging from the shadows. And what could be the beginning of yet another dynasty in Islamabad, the Khan dynasty. Imran Khan's 2 sons, who so far had stayed away from politics, have returned. They're now going to fight for their father's release. The question is, how far will they go? How much will this change the political landscape in Pakistan? And would this be yet another flashpoint in Sharif government, which is anyway surviving on a day-to-day basis? This report decodes that for you.
The Khan legacy is far from over. Just when Pakistan thought the government had successfully silenced former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, even banning Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's YouTube channel, there is a fresh twist awaiting Islamabad. Sons of the jailed leader, Qasim and Suleiman Khan, are now entering the political arena. Khan's sons, who have so far stayed away from politics, are now mobilizing support for their father's release, urging global leaders, including US President Donald Trump, to put pressure on the Pakistani establishment. Both British citizens, Qasim and Suleiman, are all set to return to Pakistan to join a nationwide protest against Khan's incarceration. The Sharif government is not taking this lightly, threatening Qasim and Suleiman with the same fate as their father. PMLN leader Bilal Yassin warned they would be denied entry if they intend to spread discord, alleging they are being taught Urdu to fool the nation. Fearing for her son's safety, Khan's former wife, Jamima Goldsmith, slammed the Pakistani government over the threats to arrest her children. Imran Khan has been imprisoned for 700 days. facing corruption and terrorism charges, and has allegedly been cut off from his family and doctors. Khan's party has been raising concerns over conditions of his incarceration. Throughout the decades, Pakistani politics has long run in families. As Islamabad continues to grapple with political and economic instability, will Qasim and Suleiman write the next chapter of the Khan legacy or inherit his saga controversies? Disha Bagchi's report for NDTV World.
Viewers, the Khan dynasty is back. The question is, how is this going to change the relationship with India? What does this mean for India? Well, the return of Imran Khan's PTI to mainstream politics is not a very healthy sign as far as India is concerned, because Imran Khan is one of the shrillest anti-India voices there. Let's not forget that. Under Imran Khan, India-Pakistan ties recorded and hit its record lows. It was under Khan that the Pulwama terror attack took place in 2019. It killed 40 Indian soldiers. It was Khan who went back on the first set of agreements between India and Pakistan after the abrogation of Article 370. But Khan also is the one who stood up against the military establishment. The civilian government and the military establishment relationship changed and went under a sea change during Imran Khan's tenure, which is how what happens next as far as the Khan dynasty is concerned is likely to have impact in terms of the India-Pakistan equation. Now, whether or not this will actually lead to Imran Khan's sons entering politics, nobody knows. Will they mark a new era as far as PTI is concerned? Well, time will tell. Would this actually be the next Prime Minister or the next Bilawal Bhutto? Well, we'll get to know in the next couple of months. All right, viewers, it's time to get you the big NDTV exclusive, our top voice on the show, former Israeli Prime Minister, Mr. Olmert, who joins us to talk more about the ceasefire and the agreement that has been signed between Israel and Hamas in terms of getting 10 of those hostages out. Mr. Olmert, thanks much for speaking to NDTV. Let me start by first asking you that while there's some sort of a pact has been reached, what about the main sticky points on both sides? On Israel, it is the fact that it wants to end and completely eliminate Hamas. And on the Hamas side, of course, it wants that Israel should be completely vacated out of the Gaza Strip. How do you see those sticky points going forward?
Of course, Israel will not end the war unless the necessary arrangements being made to make sure that Hamas will not carry on further any dominant position in Gaza. Of course, the Hamas will not release all the hostages, which is the only asset they still hold, unless it will be guaranteed that the war was finished. So I think that while there are negotiations for partial understandings, there is still a disagreement about the final terms, which is from the Palestinian side, Hamas side, the end of the war completely and eventual withdrawal of Israel from all of Gaza. And from the Israeli point of view, the total elimination of Hamas as a dominant force in Gaza. Mm-hmm. This is still very much, I think, is debated. And I don't see yet signs that there is any progress towards an understanding about these two fundamental opposing issues.
Right. Mr. Olmert, this is one of the biggest international stories happening, a war that has been going on since October 2023. Expectation that this could probably end as far as the moment Donald Trump came into power. That hasn't been the case. But in your assessments, do you think that Donald Trump will now exercise his political capital over Benjamin Netanyahu to get a final deal going?
I hope so. As far as I'm concerned, he should have done it already long ago. I must say something which I hope you are aware of. There is a growing expectation in Israel, I'd say more than expectation, a demand in Israel for the end of the war. the statements made by the Israeli Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense about the building up a humanitarian city in Rafah and bringing 600,000 Palestinians into that region, and the statements made that Israel will expand the military efforts in Khan Yunis and Beit Hanun, in some of these still centers where Hamas still possess some kind of military power, are not accepted in Israel. The majority of Israelis want the war to end today. They want the hostages to end today. So looking at it from the perspective of President Trump, I think he has got the moral support of most of the Israelis to exercise his authority and force the Israeli Prime Minister to abide by his demands. And therefore the question is, what is he up for? What does President Trump want to do? What he thinks, I think that he can do it. Question is whether he thinks that he can do it. Remains to be seen.
All right. Mr. Olmert, then let me ask you this question, something that the Trump administration, the Trump himself has spoken about several times, which is his vision of rebuilding Gaza Trump style. How do you see that? Some people say it's absolutely unacceptable. There are those who feel that maybe there is hope. How do you view this in terms of how Donald Trump feels that the entire Gaza Strip could become the French Riviera of the Middle East?
I think that the vision for the day after will not allow, and I'm not in favor of deportation of Palestinians from Gaza. Gaza is Palestinian, and the Palestinians live in Gaza, and they ought to live in Gaza. Question is, what do we do in order to make sure that Gaza will not be controlled in the future by terrorist organizations? And that's the essence of what the Israeli military effort was focused on, to destroy the military capacity. And now the arrangements which can be sponsored and facilitated by President Trump and the American administration in cooperation with the Palestinian Authority, Jordan and Egypt and the Emirates and Bahrain and the Saudis ought to be how to establish the presence of a security force in Gaza that will prevent the Hamas from becoming again any significant force in that region. That's what we need to do. Ending the war, bringing the hostages, releasing Palestinian prisoners as part of an agreement, and also trying to establish a security force that will prevent that at any time in the future Gaza will continue to be what it was, which is a basis of terror.
Mr. Olmert, thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to NDTV on what is one of the biggest international stories, which is a possible ceasefire, paving the way for some sort of a long-term solution between Israel and Hamas. On that note, viewers, I'm going to slip into a very short break. Come back on the other side with more stories on India Sense. Stay with us.
If you won't do it for you, do it for your dog, who's upset you didn't hear his whining.
Book a free hearing test at bootshearingcare.com.
This is so wild that I actually, from a dream, started a business. I don't think I could ever work for anyone else ever again.
Whether you're setting up a new nest, starting your own flock, or they just keep on growing, get more time to pay with VeryPay. You can buy now and pay up to 12 months later, and pay no interest, with nothing to pay at checkout. And you can easily keep track of payments in the Very app. More time to pay with VeryPay.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure window dressings delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at blindsdirect.co.uk.
Someone's happy. Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. 75 ball bingo. Even 90 ball bingo. Fill your bingo boots today. get that lucky cow feeling at luckycowbingo.com/bingo or download the Lucky Cow Android app from the Play Store.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be on thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
Just because my kids are growing up and have little ones of their own doesn't mean family life slows down. I'm busier than ever. Now that I'm in my 60s, I want to make sure that my family has enough to cover my funeral costs and other expenses when I'm no longer around. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one and you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 542 1545 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories. So here I am. Join me, Boria Majumdar, on India's #1 news network.
The trials and tribulations of Grok, the AI chatbot developed by Elon Musk's tech company xAI and integrated into X, continued this week as the model suddenly started spewing hate speech about Jewish people. It also proclaimed that Adolf Hitler would spot the pattern of Jews' anti-white hate and handle it decisively. Musk claims the bot was too compliant and manipulated by user prompts and says the issue was being addressed. But the question still remains, viewers. Are users to blame when AI suddenly starts spewing out hate? All in all, it's been a rough rollout for Musk's chatbot, which he claims is the smartest AI on the market. And what does this tell about the future of AI? Well, we'll get to know in months and time to come. All right, viewers, and finally, the Taj Mahal has officially been named the most beautiful building in the world. Time Out travel editors ranked the iconic ivory white marble monument in India above 23 other architectural wonders from around the world, celebrating it as a timeless symbol of love and beauty. But that's a wrap on this edition of India Ascends. Thanks so much for watching.
Summer's heating up with People's Postcode Lottery.
Oh my God!
In our August draws, you could win a share of £15.7 million.
I've just won the postcode lottery.
Oh,
Twice.
Could a big summertime win land in your postcode?
Wow!
Sign up before midnight on the 31st of July. A share of £15.7 million could be yours, but only if your door is in the draw.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring, because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
With BetterHelp, the biggest benefit of therapy is that it's about finding your authentic self. In a world where everyone is telling us who we should be and what we should want, it's the one place where you get to decide that for yourself. On BetterHelp, my role as a therapist is to meet clients where they are right now. Therapy is for anybody who wants to learn more about themselves or reach a goal or grow in what they already have.
Your personalized car insurance deals from Auto Sergey, already done for you.
Simples.
Just make it simples with Compare the Market.
That couple we met made 50% less than us with Secret Escapes.
So we didn't have to rent our house out to pay for this trip?
Darling, it will be absolutely fine.
Book your luxury holidays with up to 50% off on secretescapes.com. Secret Escapes, luxury travel for less.
I've been thinking, I want to plan my funeral so it feels more like a celebration. My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So when my time comes, I want to have music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years' experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the funeral you want. To find out more, visit Co-op Funeral Care or give us a call.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo, the site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
He shows a bag full of cash in the leader's room, and he has clarified that the bag contained clothes, not money, as was alleged, and suggested that the video was taken by a worker with access to his house. 2 weeks have passed, but Shefali Jariwala's autopsy report remains awaited. Cops seek one more week for the report.
Well, first up this evening, the special newsmaker from Telangana joins us, Vasudha, one who's on an OBC offensive in New Delhi, but also one who has to take a lot of questions about her own party and future.
Absolutely, Veera. We have a special guest with us, BRS leader K. Kavita, joining us right now to speak about something that she's been raising, OBC reservations and her own brand of politics. Thank you, K. Kavita ma'am, for speaking to NDTV, for your time. And thank you so much for being part of this broadcast.
Thank you, Raghavji. Thank you, Vasudha ji. How are you?
All good, ma'am. My first question to you, I was part of the press conference that you addressed on the OBC reservations. The Telangana government yesterday, after much delay, has announced that it will be implementing 42% reservation for OBCs in local body elections. This is soon after you announced your protests, the Rail Roko agitation that you were planning on the 17th of this month. Do you see this as a victory for your political protest, or do you see this taking away the sting out of your OBC push? How do you see this announcement by the government?
I'm a very optimistic person. Whichever victory comes my way, I don't shy away from claiming it. And certainly, I believe this is a Telangana Jagruti's victory. We've been constantly voicing out OBC concerns. And Vasudhaji, whenever a government comes in with a lot of poll promises, if they deliver on those promises without being prompted too many times, that can be claimed as a government's victory. But in the last 18 months, many of us were on the roads agitating continuously for the OBC 42% reservation. So now I'm very sure it is not the government's victory, but it is our victory. People, Telangana OBC's victory is what I can say.
Absolutely. Ma'am, with respect to OBC reservation, what kind of response are you receiving from public and political allies? Because this concerns masses. Have there been any dialogue with the centre authorities? Also, the criticism from the BJP Congress is that the KCR government brought down the BC reservation to